I was approached by one of the young folks who was in detention, and he walks up to me and he says, "I hate all cops."
I was nervous. I thought they was gonna be mean to us.
I was terrified.
I thought they were gonna be like, you know, really pricks.
Because the cops from around here, that's how they are.
I ain't want to go because I don't like cops.
I liked them, but not that much.
They had killed my uncle, and like from there, like my family don't like cops because what they did. So,
You know, there's a such thing as bad cops, but there's a such thing as good cops as well. Yeah, but
It's the truth.
it's the truth.
I said, well, that's the reason why I'm here. I said, because what I want to do is to convince you that you don't have to hate all cops.
We had no idea what the event was going to be at all, except for interacting with juveniles.
You can't know what to expect until you get there.
What you see is apprehension at the beginning of the day.
I never seen that many cops, like in one room.
I don't know how many cops are. I would estimate like 200 cops.
It's a very, very intimidating place to be.
We have a lot of new recruits that are going to be out there in the street of Philadelphia. They're young. We have young people coming in who have some, let's say, stereotyped opinions about law enforcement.
Well, I'm kind of excited about today. I'm very passionate about young people and helping them grow into manhood.
All right, I first walk in, bang, you see cops, everything. Like cops walking by, you see the police car on the side, the old handcuffs and everything. Looking around, I'm like, oh man.
Everybody thought it would just be like, oh, we're just probably gonna sit around, hear people talk, real boring.
If we can get those two groups together, the new law enforcement officers and the young people, and get them to understand each other, that alone is going to reduce negative contact.
The most important thing you can do today is be real. There are too many minority youth who are having negative contact with police, and because of that negative contact, they're getting locked up. And you know and I know once they're locked up, that's the slippery road. Did anybody know why you're here today other than being dragged out of your bed? Really, honestly, do you know why you're here today? You're going to be together with police officers, and you're going to be able to give them what you feel.
For some of these kids, it's the very first time that they have ever had an opportunity to sit down with a police officer outside of the kind of interactions that they have on the street corners.
How many of you all know somebody that's been stopped by the police? That's almost everybody, right? How many of you know somebody that's in jail?
Today, everybody respecting everybody. Because this is my shout. I'm the director. So you will get your words in today. Because I'm the facilitator. This is my show.
We're going to spend the day together. What you say in this room stays in this room. We want you to tell law enforcement what your experience is all about. They want to know. We want you to have an honest conversation with law enforcement.
On the panel, you're going to have law enforcement folk and young people and a facilitator.
They sit beside each other.
And it's kind of every other person, so it's an officer and then a young person.
Cop, kid, cop, kid.
Anything that you say will not be used against you in a court of law. You have a perfect opportunity to express yourself freely and completely. This is a two-way conversation. This is not about coming here to listen to adults. This is about adults coming here to listen to what you have to say. But today, we want you to teach us something new. We hear a lot about stereotypes. What is the definition of a stereotype?
Stereotype is like a rumor, like when people say every black person eats fried chicken. That's not true.
Stereotype goes two ways. A lot of times officers are stereotyped, and it is assumed that because I'm an officer that I'm a certain way. Don't stereotype
We've been very, really, I'll just say the word blessed to have George Mosey as our key facilitator here in Philadelphia.
I need open, honest, and free-flowing communication.
I do believe that the facilitator needs to have some law enforcement credibility, because it helps for the law enforcement people to feel that they're not being set up in this.
They can talk about anything, and they can even accuse police officers if they want to, and the police likewise can say whatever's on their minds.
When somebody that you know kills somebody that you know, and you don't say nothing, that's a problem.
Like, if I talk to the cops, they might like shoot me for talking to y'all.
I'm not scared of the police. Like, I know what's right, I know what's wrong. If he has to keep his mouth shut to protect his family, he is doing the right thing.
It becomes a very powerful conversation.
You are not supposed to care about what other people think about you. It's what you think about yourself.
They're going to judge you real quick. They're going to think that you automatically are always in trouble or doing something wrong with the law.
And police officers think they can just do whatever they want because they think I do not know my rights.
I mean, there was a lot of honesty that was going on, and kids could have probably been locked up right there for some of the things that they admitted to.
What are some of the stereotypes young people have about police officers?
All police officers eat donuts and drink coffee.
There was one police officer, I believe his name was Paris.
You know there are bad cops out there. And you know there are bad asses of you out there. And you know it is a problem, but it ain't everybody. It's what the world really is.
He made a huge impression on me as well as my kids.
I was like, damn.
I'm going home every night the same way I left. Okay? And there is nobody more important on that scene than me. Number one is me.
It wasn't what I expected. Like, I thought it was going to be something corny like that, like something that really wasn't going to have no type of meaning or something I wouldn't remember.
Well, I'm going to flip the script now, and I'm going to give some people who were stopped by the police, who aren't police, an opportunity to show the police how it should be done. Okay, officers Ryan and Avery, come on down. This is the stoop in front of Miss Johnson's house. And Miss Johnson is sick and tired of these two juvenile delinquents sitting on her stoop every night. So she calls the 25th Police District.
Yeah, the role play was the best thing. It was pretty cool.
The role play.
Now don't make me call the chief on it. I want these people out front of my property. I ain't gonna go out there and do it because I'm scared. But you police officers.
The kids were trying to act like they're the cops, and the adults were acting like, you know, the juveniles do. Like, why should I have to get off my step?
I talked to him.
Hold on. Hey, Dad. Dad. Keep this on.
Oh, Jimmy, what did you call?
I think they were realizing how much resistance they actually get back, and to the kids, I think they realized it didn't feel good.
I'm just doing my job. I don't got nothing to do with y'all.
Do your job and get back in and eat them damn donuts and get away from me because I ain't do nothing.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. May I see your IDs, please?
What are you doing out
Oh,
there?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, man.
Why do you want that?
What did I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Now you want me to go? You make me go.
See, oh man, see, and he was a little upset because we lost our little cousin, Raybone. And
So now the young people get to see what it really feels like to be a police officer.
what's the mom's name? Why you asking? What's the mom's name? You don't even know my mother. If you live there, why you want to know my girl, man? That's my cousin's house, man. You just said that's your mom's
It's not your stoop though. It's not your stoop. But it's not your stoop. But it's not your stoop. We're not talking to you. We're talking to your man now. Alright, we're talking to your man though.
How long you been a cop, dude? 2 days?
Cuz, what's cuz? You got a fucking attitude?
You got an attitude? I'll show
You look like you're gonna show me an attitude?
Tell you what, officers, I'm not going to speak on behalf of them, but I'm going to go because I don't want no problems, all right? So I'm going to go. I'm going to go. That's the best thing I'm going to go. Pansy!
You know, in the street when something happens, you don't get to see their thought after. You just get to see them come up and pull the nightstick out, and you're like, whoa, like But over there, you know, you got to act with them, and then when they say cut, you know, you talk about it, and it actually made it pretty cool.
I felt intimidated. Basically, in my mind, I mean, he's calling me stupid, and, you know, I didn't like that.
And how did you feel trying to get these guys off the corner?
I got irritated as soon as he talk about some of this YouTube. I'll put you on YouTube. Tell me you want to put me on YouTube.
Because y'all were disrespecting, like, we were just acting nicely to get off the steps, and that just came out of nowhere and disrespecting us.
You told me to get off my step.
Yeah, but I said, excuse me, can y'all get off the steps?
Can you imagine what it's like to be a police officer, stopping somebody that you don't know? You don't know what they might have in their possession.
You would have definitely locked them up, right, at some point?
I don't feel like doing the paperwork. I don't know about that.
We're trying to change behaviors that in some sense have been ingrained. We're trying to address issues that they permeate our society.
I feel as if the guy that shot Trayvon Martin was pretty much stereotyping. Yeah, he's black, he has a hoodie, and he seems suspicious. The man's had a bag of Skittles in Arizona. Like, he's not going to kill anybody with Skittles.
Cops stop people because they have a bad day. Cops stop people because they just don't like the way this child looks, and they stop him. Yes, that happens. Of course it does. But the other side of that happens too. Cops stop people because they don't want them to get hurt at night.
One of our forums, a young lady was talking about, police don't stop us, but a lot of times we're carrying this stuff that, you know, maybe drugs, might even be a weapon. And her position was, you know, y'all ain't that smart. I'm the one, but because I'm a girl, you're not assuming that I'm the one. So it spoke to assumptions.
When I was young, I didn't like cops either.
When I was young, I mean, come on.
I ain't gonna lie, it's one white officer that'll always stick in my head. He stopped me, he was real cool. The first time he stopped me, he wasn't. But then he got to know me, and the second time he stopped me, he was like, oh, it's you. Like, he was cool.
I'm gonna, you know, it's crazy because I'm gonna be in the exact same seat that they're sitting in right now because I want to become a cop.
As the day goes on, you start to see a transition.
Really, the time that I think we see the biggest difference is lunch.
You see less defensiveness, you see more openness.
You learn a lot about a person when you sit down and break bread with them.
By the time we get to lunch, there's already a kind of comfort level that's been developed.
What grade are you in now? 11. And what do you want to do when you leave?
There's a real change in tone. People, you can hear it in the lightness of their voice. You can hear it in terms of, you know, who they're talking to, and you also see it in their bodies. They're more relaxed.
Now they get to interact in a more intimate setting and continue the discussions that they had earlier during the panel.
And that is when I think we really see barriers start to fall.
I've actually won over some children who didn't want to talk to cops at all at lunch.
Why did he come all the way around here to bother people?
He's not bothering people, he's doing his job.
You said he was leaving.
Why running people over with his bicycle?
But you said
he
when you run
is.
somebody over with the bike.
Ultimately, once we broke down into the groups and actually got to talk to more of the kids one-on-one, I mean, for me, I that's where I really kind of start to see it from the other side.
Cops, we're people too. We have families, we have children. I have a 3.5-year-old I want to go home to, just like the other officer said. We're flesh and bone, we have feelings. We get scared too on the job.
In a smaller group, it's more comfortable. They see there's been no repercussions for speaking their mind.
How many people think that you guys think and react to things differently than grown-ups do? How many people would think that's true?
You start to see little side conversation, which I think is wonderful, not distracting. But people are starting to think about this. Oh, wow, you know, maybe, you know what? I wasn't a teenager that long ago. I remember.
If you steal in jail, that same inmate, they have their own rules, their own laws. And you're going to live by it or you're going to die by it. So even in a criminal environment, they have a code of rules.
They're our young people. They didn't drop here from Mars. They didn't come here from another planet. We have to find ways to address them, to allow them to be young people, allow them to make mistakes, not excusing criminality, but allow them to be what sometimes they are. They're going to be knuckleheads amongst our young people. Every one of us probably at some point was a knucklehead, but we're allowed to grow And that's what we're trying to do, allow these flowers to grow.
This program is going to help us do our job and save lives. Do you hear me? Yes. I want to know, are you here because you believe in what we're going to do?